Hello everyone. In today's session, we are focusing on presentation skills. Those skills that are needed in the pharmaceutical industry. This is important for anyone and any function in this industry, because each role will have to present internally or externally or both. If you search the internet, you will find thousands and thousands of sources about the general presentation skills, like, for example, eye contact, enthusiasm, body language, how to put slides together. These are all good and useful. But for us in our industry, our presentations and skills that we need are far more than the basic techniques. Why? Because basically in our industry, a presentation is rarely just a presentation. When you present, you are not only sharing information. Whether you are presenting internally or externally, you are often dealing with either scientific evidence, clinical data, safety information, regulatory constraints, strategic decisions, including, of course, prioritization and budget, and also you can be dealing with patient-related outcomes. So yes, eye contact, clear voice, and good slides are very important, but they are not enough for us. In the pharmaceutical world, your presentation can really influence how healthcare professionals think about a disease or a treatment. They can shape strategies and priorities of your organization. Your presentations can get more resources if you are good enough in this. Your presentation can support other functions like market access, regulatory, marketing. Also, it can affect how patients are diagnosed or treated. So, in other words, your presentations can build or damage credibility of your organization. That is why the level of responsibility is higher, and the skills we need must go beyond generic presentation tips. And if we ask who needs strong presentation skills in pharma, the answer is almost everyone. It is not only medical affairs or marketing or commercial. Everyone in the industry will eventually have to present something important. In medical affairs, for example, they present scientific updates, advisory boards, medical education, and others. In marketing and commercial teams, they present the brand plans, strategies, campaigns, performance reviews. Market access, they need to present value propositions, health economic data, payer discussions, and the list is endless. Regular affairs, different submissions, updates to authorities, internal briefings. Clinical operation will present study protocols to get them approved, site training, trial updates. Pharmacovigilance, safety, finance, compliance, legal, every single function will have to present something important. Many different functions, many different audience, but one common need: to present clearly, credibly, and responsibly. So then, we need additional skills in this industry for four main reasons. One, the content is complex and technical. We deal with disease mechanisms, mechanism of action of drugs, clinical trial designs, endpoints, safety data and risk-benefit assessments, real-world evidence, and health economic. You cannot just say that you can talk about these topics nicely. You need to understand them deeply enough to explain them in a simple, accurate way. Number two, the audience is highly specialized and very diverse. Sometimes you are presenting to specialists and key opinion leaders, other times to general practitioners and pharmacists, another time to internal colleagues with different backgrounds, or payers and decision makers, or high-profile people like Ministry of Health or regulatory bodies, or to your cross-functional leadership. Each type of audience has a different baseline knowledge, different expectations, and different interests. So one of the most important presentation skills in pharma is the ability to adapt your depth and language to the audience in front of you. without losing scientific accuracy. The third reason is compliance and ethics, and these are always in the background of any presentation. In our industry, your presentation is not only judged by the audience, but it can be evaluated by regulatory authorities, compliance and legal teams, by internal auditors. This means you must be balanced when you present the benefits and risk, for example. You must avoid exaggeration or misleading statements. You must respect what is approved in the label and the local regulations. You must use approved sources and references and accurate resources. So a good presenter in pharma is not just charismatic. A good presenter in pharma is also compliant, careful, and responsible. The fourth reason, and as we mentioned earlier, the impact of our presentation is not only about business, it can also be about clinical practice and patients. In many industries, the results of a presentation is a business decision, a sale, or a project. But in pharma, the impact can reach beyond this. For example, which programs to prioritize, how a patient is diagnosed, which therapy is chosen, how closely guidelines are followed, or how safety is monitored. So, when we talk about presentation skills here, we are talking about a skill that can indirectly influence patient care. This gives a completely different weight to what we do. Once again, the general presentation skills are good, but presenting or lecturing in the pharmaceutical industry requires adding 6 more layers or 6 more skill sets. 1, the ability to present data, whether scientific data or commercial data or even data from an internal survey or audit. You need to have the ability to present this in a clear way. The second skill set is the ability to maintain balanced approach in your presentation. This is essential. Your audience will often include groups with different perspectives, priorities, and opinions. If your message leans too heavy toward one side, you risk disengaging the rest. A balanced delivery ensures that every segment of your audience feels acknowledged, respected, and included, which is critical for keeping their attention and maintaining your credibility. The third skill or a set of skills is the ability to translate complex data into meaningful insights for different audiences. The fourth is the ability to anticipate scientific or challenging questions, and this is a core skill. In the pharmaceutical industry, you have to be ready before your presentation and anticipate receiving scientific questions or challenging questions. Audience expect precise, evidence-based answers or data-driven answers, not just opinions or feelings or assumptions. So preparing for the potential questions allows you to respond confidently and professionally. And you can use solid data to support every point you make. This approach is not only going to strengthen your credibility, but also it will demonstrate the scientific rigor and readiness. The fifth skill set is the ability to shift into academic style thinking when needed. And this is important once again, especially when discussing studies or scientific claims. This means explaining the study design, acknowledging the limitation, and highlighting the level of evidence behind your statement. Such clarity helps the audience to evaluate the strength of the data and reinforces your scientific integrity. It also ensures that your presentation remains credible, balanced, and aligned with the evidence-based standards. The last skill set is the ability to link your content to clinical practice or broader strategy. These are very important skills. Audience wants to understand not just the data, but what it means in real life, how it impacts treatment decisions, how it impacts workflows or patient care. When you connect your message with practical implications, your presentation becomes more relevant and memorable. This also helps stakeholders to see the strategic value behind the information, not just the scientific details. Effective communication skills in the pharma industry go far beyond speaking well. go far beyond putting slides. They require scientific accuracy, strategic thinking, and a strong connection to the real clinical practice or the real world. And when you combine these elements together, you don't just deliver information, you influence decisions, build trust, and elevate your professional impact. Thank you very much and see you in the next episode.